Hey, welcome back to Buckeye Wars. This is a little series that I put together about memories, little stories about what it was like growing up in El Dorado Hills, California, back in the 70s and the 80s. Hey, another story about Folsom Lake. My dad was a fisherman. He grew up back in Illinois, Ohio area, and he would spend his summers at camp, I guess. He was telling stories about there was a lake he used to go to, and there was a red flatfish lure that he used to just slay the bass with. And he had that in his tackle box. He had a metal tackle box. And I just loved to open up that tackle box and look to see what was in there. But as far as Folsom Lake, one of the places that we liked to fish was called Dike 8. And part of Dike 8 included a great big, dike that was, great big old granite boulders stacked up to form a wall to keep the water in, like a dam, but it's actually called a dike because it wasn't a functional dam till that water through. Anywho, when the water was really high, the water would come up into the trees at Dike 8, and by golly, that's where the fish wanted to be, under the trees, in the water, under the trees. And the bluegill would kind of form, hide in the shade under the trees, and of course that would attract the bass. And my dad knew this. He had a plug, probably 2.5-inch long plug, maybe even 3. It was big, and as big around as your thumb, if not a little bit fatter than your thumb. And this lure was labeled on the bottom because some of the lures back in the day had names so that you could get another one of the same kind if you lost that one. But this one was entitled Lucky 13. And my dad knew that big old tree that sat out in the water just about casting distance from the shore was probably going to have a bunch of bluegill beneath it, and that attracts bass. So if he threw his lure up in there, he's probably going to catch a bass because he knew what he was doing. Man, with that Lucky 13 lure, which was heavy because it was big, he could fling that thing and, oh damn, he caught bass after bass after bass after bass from beneath that tree. Now it was catch and release pretty much for my dad. We didn't much like the taste of bass, so we would catch them and then let them go, and it was all about the fun. But I'd never seen anything like it. And they were big, good 2-pounders, maybe I don't know, maybe anywhere from 15 to 18 inches long. Decent bass. He was catching them like crazy. And for a little boy like me, if you're catching bass like that, you're like a god. It was awesome. Thank you once again for joining me for Buckeye Wars.